We're good.
All right, what's up, guys? This is Console Gaming Radio. It's hexzilla here. I got my man, the main man, GMillion, with us as always, and we got our very special guest here, Old Man Gaming. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the invite. I feel like I made it.
No problem.
Yeah, you definitely made it to the long term, right? We're here and we're live in effect. I'm super excited about this episode because check this out. If you guys don't know, Old Man Gaming, he has his own podcast that he does with his own set of hosts that he does, very on a frequent basis. And a lot of what we're going to talk about is about podcasts. A lot of what we're going to talk about is, how we, in our experiences, were able to get our podcast going and all that good stuff. So if you're a content creator, if you play games or you're jumping into YouTube to create a podcast or do gaming, this is going to be the perfect time for you to get a little bit of, firsthand small YouTube advice. But before we jump into it, I want to first go ahead and talk a little bit about what we got going on. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Garrett, then I'll do myself, and we'll go ahead and leave it for Old Man Gaming last. But, what do you got going on, Garrett? What are you playing right now? What are you going to be playing next week and everything?
Okay, so what's going on this week is more live streaming. Got my Stadia show on Sunday. I'm looking for a guest on there. Next week, we're doing some more console gaming radio. I haven't talked to Hector about this, but on Wednesday morning, I'm going to do a live reaction to the Xbox Series X May 7th Inside Gaming thing.
Yep.
I'm going to do that at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be like a console gaming radio bonus thing where I'm just going to stream that and just give you guys my live reaction. I won't keep that on my channel because copyright strikes and copyright notices. So if you guys wanted to see that, I know it's 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, but all your Eastern guys, you guys are good. 11 o'clock.
Right.
But
you guys can hop on there and watch that.
But I'm gonna be like in zombie mode, so I'll probably talk to Hector about that if he wants to join in. I don't know if he wants to get up that early.
Yeah.
Other than that,
we'll definitely talk about it, man, because I'm gonna be checking that shit out too. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about that.
Yeah. And other than that, I've just been playing more Persona 5 and got into PUBG on Stadia because that finally came out on Stadia, and I did pretty decent on the stream that I did on LX's channel. So.
Yep.
And Hector, what have you been doing?
Yeah, so I'm almost done with Doom, like legit one more level, I think. So I'm just knocking out the whole game, and then I'm just gonna post the rest of it as I finish the game. I'm hitting up Tomb Raider on Stadia. That's gonna be my first Stadia review, like legit review, which is gonna be Tomb Raider. What was it? It's the one that just recently came out. Well, it just recently came out, but I'm gonna be playing that Tomb Raider. I forgot which one it is, but I'm playing multiple actually. I actually bought that one and the other one, by the way, just because I like Tomb Raider.
Did you get Rise or Shadow?
I got Rise. Well, I got both.
Okay, good, because Shadow's the third one. I don't want you to skip the second one.
No, I'm gonna jump into that one. But that's what I'm playing. I'm gonna do a review on that, and then also check out, as you know, CGR. We're continuing to do that. I am gonna do a reaction on the Xbox review as well. We'll talk about that as far as what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be dope. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Just the regular stuff. Old Man Gaming, what you got going on, man?
Well, we got a ton of stuff. We try and put out a video every day. We do a lot of Let's Plays. Just quick run it down. We do podcasts. The audio comes out every Thursday, Friday. Do the actual YouTube version of the show. Then on Sundays, I do Prelude to Divorce with my wife, which is comical because she's not a gamer. Then Monday, I do horrible reviews. And then Tuesday I do On the Hunt with Philbilly 330, and then I also do Borderlands 330 with Philbilly 330 every Wednesday morning. And if it's all right, I just want to give a quick shout out to my founders from Four People. They, I'm here representing Old Man Gaming, but I couldn't do it without them. Logan, aka Knight 645, Billy 330, and of course Neil, a tiny wizard. Thanks, guys. Just want you guys to be noticed as well.
Now, do they have their own channels, or did they just help you out?
They create content through my channel. Billy does the build videos and a lot of the Let's Play stuffs with me. Logan runs our Discord, and then Neil does the podcast with me, as well as other various shows. Usually they're kind of like specials, but
perfect. Gotcha. So, all right. So we appreciate everyone here today watching. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing because I'm excited. So before we get into this, I wanna kind of talk to Old Man Gaming a little bit about kind of like your experiences with games. And we do this a lot. If you guys seen some previous episodes with most of our guests that we have. So first thing I want to ask you, man, is the simple question. What got you into gaming? You know what I mean? What made you want to start playing games?
Well, that's way back in the day. I have been with gaming since almost the beginnings. We got a Nintendo when I was very, very young, and I've been in love ever since. I mean, I like games of all kind. Give me boards, cards, tabletop, video games, whatever. I like games. But video games just captured me because and I've just had every system since then, and I've just played with it since then. And yeah, I mean, I guess Mario, although it's not my favorite game ever, but it was just the only one that was out in the beginning.
Right. Super Mario, right? The original Super Mario. You know what I mean? The original, that was a classic for sure. And I remember one thing with the Super Mario, they had this like game like in where I was living at. I was in Jersey at the time. You can literally buy like this mini Super Mario fake, super cheap plastic Chinese console like Super Mario game. And that's literally what I used to play sometimes because that was what I used to get back, and they get like $20. You'll buy that game and you just get into it. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely that. And so when we're talking about like the gaming and stuff, like what you're a content creator. Obviously, you have your own podcast. You do your own videos and stuff. How'd you get into that? Actually jumping into YouTube. I mean, some people play games for just the entertainment, for the amusement of it, but obviously you've seen yourself doing this as like an actual bypass time where you're making videos. What made you get into that and start your channel and everything?
No, it's been a super weird journey. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of an older dude. So the technology I've kind of had to learn from the ground. I missed it, and then like I've kind of had to learn it from the ground up. And originally when I first started doing the YouTube stuff, I started doing something that was just a terrible idea. You can actually still see the videos on my channel from long ago. It was like a narrative thing where I would just like record the game so that people could see it and see how cool the game was if they didn't want to play games. It was just a terrible idea. It didn't get any views. It was awful. And then props to Logan. He, I started playing with him, and he actually did just off the cuff. I really liked Apex Legends. Nobody had on it yet. Because it had stealth dropped, so I just did like a little review on it. It got a couple of views, and he said you should just do reviews, and it just snowballed from there. I mean, there's also a part of me that I was working, and then I was out of work, and I kind of transitioned to kind of like a more of a homemaker role in my family, and it was kind of like something to throw myself into. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's definitely a good way to just kind of pass time, but at the same time, you're creating some really good content. You know what I mean? And I've seen your videos, and I know, GMills, we were talking about it. We've seen a lot of your horrible reviews. I've seen a little bit of your podcast, and like I said to you when we were on the phone, man, we do almost the same exact thing, which is reviews. We do a lot of gaming content. Obviously, we have a podcast, man. You're really doing a lot of good stuff, man, and I like your content a lot, dude. And that's one of the reasons I was super excited to get you here today, because I feel like we're almost very similar in the content that we create.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hector's more into the video side, and I'm more into the podcasting side. So it's a little different, but together we're a force, and we're glad
you're a force to be reckoned with, Garrett.
Exactly.
We're a force to be reckoned with.
And we're glad that you're a part of it too now.
Yeah, hell yeah, definitely.
If there's any wisdom I could impart from the amount of from the short time I've been doing it is exactly what you guys are doing, which is find somebody who kind of not fits the weaknesses, but does the things that you don't, so that you cover all those bases. You know?
Right, exactly that. So, Old Man Gaming, what was the first game you've ever played? I think you said Super Mario, but I might be mistaken.
The first video game I ever played was Zelda.
Ooh,
We actually
which
got
one?
Zelda before Mario, but when we originally bought the Nintendo system for my parents, like my parents bought it themselves, and so they bought games for themselves, not thinking we were going to be into it. And so Zelda was the first one, and that was a hard one to start on. The original Zelda for Nintendo, right there.
Oh yeah,
got
that
Mario later.
That was a classic. That original Zelda. I know you played it for a fact, Gary, because I know you played that one.
I didn't play the older Zelda games. I got into Zelda when Ocarina of Time came out.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's like a classic right there.
Yeah.
Great, it's great.
That's honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Ocarina of Time is like the only Zelda game I've played. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, and it's not because Zelda is a bad game. I think Zelda is a great game, but I'm not really a huge Nintendo fan. But the Zelda Ocarina of Time was just so fucking fun. I'm not even gonna lie. Like for me at least. Yeah.
I also like Breath of the Wild is really good. Like it's everything they say it is. It's just it's a phenomenal game.
Have you played that most recent one? Which one was it, Garrett?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Have you tried jumping into that one yet?
Yeah, I got into that one. I didn't like how the weapon system works, so I just kind of jumped off it real quick.
Yeah, what's the difference with that one that you didn't?
All your weapons break like after like a couple of hits.
Reminds me of a podcast about it. It was the exact complaint, Garrett. It was an exact complaint. I was like, why do I can't fix my weapons? Why? I want.
Then you like,
yeah, dude.
Once you get into the game, it's like they throw you in there too. All your weapons break, and I was in situations where I didn't have any weapons, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. By the way, we got P Blaze 09. What's going on, man? I caught up on a lot of you guys.
What up, P Blaze?
Today. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. Nights 645. I'm eating B dubs while watching this. I hope you're eating either lemon pepper or the honey barbecue. Other than that, good stuff because I love B dubs. And then P Blaze, man, yeah, we appreciate you guys being here with us today, man. Old Man Gaming, real quick, what are some of your most like memorable games? You know, it doesn't have to be old, it doesn't have to be new, but like if you had to like pick, I always ask this to almost everyone. If you had to pick 3 games, if you're stuck in an island, you had no food, well, that's like so irrelevant, but let's just say you were stuck on the island, right? And you had to pick 3 games for the rest of your life, what would those games be?
This is a fun question. Number 1, with a bullet, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. I have over 500 hours in that game at this point.
Wow, you really jumped into that thing, huh?
And what's weird is I've actually traded it in and bought it again because I missed it. Like it's one of those that just keep pulling me back no matter how far I get from it. Got Phil Billy into it, so he's pulled me back in again. And just that's a game that like anytime I'm bored, like even if I don't want to play Monster Hunter World, I'll put it in and I'll be like, no, this is great. I like this. I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah, people really love Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, man. That's a huge game now, and I never even played it, but I know a lot of people are into that thing. You know,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through the opening. Like, that's what I told Phil Billy when he first got into it. I was like, you got to get through the first couple hours. Once you do, you'll see why this game is good. But the first couple hours is a lot of weird anime bullshit, and then other stuff you like. And it's
if it has a lot of anime bullshit, Garrett would definitely like it. This dude,
I couldn't get through the opening. I could not get through the opening. No.
Dude, if it's any worse than freaking Judgment, gosh, that opening for Judgment was long as hell.
No, the Judgment opening was good. Okay,
because the gameplay was good on that too.
Yeah, because it hooked you with the story. So
right, at least it had something to hook you in, right? Shoot. Well, that's what's up, man. So we got Monster Hunter. What would you say the other 2 are?
I'm gonna say Skyrim.
Oh, Okay,
Okay, Skyrim.
we got a Skyrim fan in the house right now. If you guys are messing with Skyrim, go ahead and throw up a thumbs up if you like Skyrim in the chat below. All right, why Skyrim? What made you like that one?
So when I was younger, my gaming tastes were all about linear stories that I could get through fast. And then, I don't know, somewhere along the line it changed, and I realized that I want games that anytime I want to play that kind of game, I can do something completely different that I've never done before. Like, there's always over 500 hours of content. So anytime I pick it up, I pick a different direction to walk in, and I find something new to do. That's I just love games like that, and that's one of the things. Skyrim's another one. If I'm trapped on a desert island, I know I'm always gonna have something new to do in it.
Right, and that game specifically, man, I've seen reviews on it. That game, it literally can give you a legit maybe like 500, maybe more hours of like content. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely astronomical. Plus, they actually do something that all console gaming needs to do. Not to get on a tangent, but all console games should have modding. Like, it just should. It's so good for like extending the length of the games. And
Right.
there is an amazing modding community. If you get bored somehow of the stuff in the game, there are entire handmade DLC packs that you could just go on, download for free, and play in a whole new section or world or whatever.
Yeah, that's how I feel about we were talking about it, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You get the mod, which you can play with about 1,000 people, and you just go at it. You put different skins, you can play different game modes, different guns, and everything. It's dope, really dope.
And I gotta pick one more, right?
Yes. You gotta pick one more. This is the last baby right here. This is the last one. Well, real quick, guys. We got P Blaze. You gotta stick it out, Garrett. Hey, Garrett, you gotta stick it out, man. That first part of Monster Hunter, stick it the fuck out. That's basically what he's saying, man. It gets better.
Well, it's on. Is it still on Game Pass? Because if it is, I'll probably go back into it.
Probably me.
Don't get the Iceborne content. It is on Game Pass. You have to buy it if you want the Iceborne content. The base game is on.
Yeah, I have to get to the boring first part content to get to the good stuff.
Right.
When I got Phil Billy into it, it was like the first session, it was like, I don't know about this one. And then the second session, it was like, Zach, I think I hate this. And then the third session, it was like, okay, I'm starting to see it. And then from that point on, he's been obsessed ever since. So
yeah, got to give yourself a little time. I'm actually gonna probably jump into a little bit too now that you bring it up, just because I want to try that game. You know, I want to
play with you guys. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely look into it, man. But what would you say is your last game if you were stuck on the Gulligan's Island?
Trying to avoid it. It's a tough one. I know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say State of Decay 2.
Wow. You know what? I was gonna get State of Decay. I heard it was that good.
It's on Game Pass, so you can definitely get it.
I'm definitely gonna try it. What? So I'm a huge zombie fan, by the way. So it's perfect that you said that. Garrett knows this. Everyone that I've ever played with knows this. I love zombie games. For me, Last of Us is like my favorite game ever. What do you like about State of Decay?
Okay, well, I think if you're a zombie fan, you're gonna like it actually even more than me. Because I'm actually not a zombie guy. I don't like zombies normally. Nothing against people who do. It's just not content I usually search out. The reason I searched out this game is because it procedurally generates 3 survivors you have to start, and then you can switch back and forth between them. And then the whole game is about creating a community, like finding other survivors, bringing them into the fold, making them kind of work together. And it's not strategy, though. It's action-based. You take on a survivor third-person view, and you kind of go out and get resources, build your community up, and fight zombies. And so every time you go in, it's a different experience. Plus, your survivors can permanently die.
Right.
There's a permadeath aspect to it, and it's just.
I've actually heard about that permadeath one, where it's like, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but if your character dies, you have a whole new character, but you can get the loot from your dead character.
Yes. Yeah, you can go find the dead guy and pick up his stuff and bring it back. And it's very cool because like they'll say something about it like, like, oh, I'm gonna make sure this goes to good use. Like it's very well done. Personally, I think it's a monument to procedural generation done right. Like they have some flaws. I'm not saying they don't, but if you want a game that like every time you go in, it's going to be this completely different experience with completely different characters, this is just the game for you, especially if it's got zombies. You know?
Oh
Right.
man, I freaking would love to play it, dude.
Yeah, and when the first one came out, after like a lot of people got mad when your first character died, and they just stopped playing because they got attached to the first character.
Yup.
No, how could you? Yeah.
Like, how could you do that to me? And that's like, even in DayZ, I remember when you died in that, it was like, what the fuck, man? Like, that was a big one too, DayZ, when that one came out. The DayZ game, if you ever played it or tried it, really fun zombie game.
PlayStation exclusive, and unfortunately, I do not have a PlayStation, but I heard a lot about it. I know it had kind of a bumpy road with bugs, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's actually patched up a lot throughout the years. Especially now, it's really patched up, kind of really nice. You know, very similar to PUBG aspect. Your third person, things like that, loot system, and this is.
PUBG was a nightmare on console when it first came out. I out, and man, that was just like impossible to play.
Yup, and it was just the connection was bad. I remember servers being shit.
Rubber banding. Like nothing makes me want to like punch my dog in the face more than like the rubber banding. Like that happens, and I just there's nothing more frustrating.
Heck yeah, definitely that, man. So we got Knights over here. Titanfall is my baby. You know,
Titanfall is good.
Titanfall was a great game. I don't know why it got so much shit the way that it did. You know, like I feel like the reviews were kind of bullcrap. I loved it. I thought it was a great game, and I didn't even play that much. I probably played like 3-4 hours of it, because I wasn't gaming a lot at that time. But it was a raw right game, and I thought it was pretty damn good. You have P Blaze, about 3 hours, you'll be hooked. So yeah, Monster Hunter. So I definitely want to try it because I feel like you guys are really hyping me up for this. You know what I mean? So we gotta hop on there. We're definitely gonna be playing, Zach. Definitely
you're gonna be like, oh, this is terrible.
And then I played and I'm like, fuck this game, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what you're gonna do. Yeah.
Probably, man. That's how I feel about Persona. I'm probably gonna be like playing it and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. But I'm still gonna give it a chance though, because that one's a pretty dope game too.
Yeah, you should, bro.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, guys, so the last thing I kind of want to ask real quick, Old Man Gaming, before we jump into our main topic is, you know, I always like to know for YouTubers specifically, I mean, content creators, what is your goal with your channel? You know, if someone was to look at Old Man Gaming and kind of ask themselves, like, see what you're doing, what is your directional goal with your channel? What do you want people to get out of your channel?
You know, we're a fun place to hang out and watch some silly people do some silly stuff with some video games. That's basically it. I will say this: I have a very directive goal with my reviews, and that is, I think in-depth reviews sometimes miss the point. Garrett's point on Monster Hunter World, while we're telling you to stick with it, I think it's completely valid that you played it for an hour and were like, "This isn't for me," and dropped it. And I think that a lot of games that are touted as masterpieces play it for so long that they can't not tote it for a masterpiece. That's why I play it, just kind of snap judgment that somebody's busy, they've got and they've got a wife and kid and a job, and they've only got a couple hours to spend on a game. They don't have to, like, it's not easy to tell them, hey, you got to stick with this till it gets good. You know, like, hey, I only got 2 hours to play a night. I don't want to stick with anything till it gets good. I want it good now. So that's kind of how I look at the reviews. They're very snap judgment reviews, just kind of like surface, like, hey, you're going to have fun with this or you're not right off the bat. As far as the rest of it, just a bunch of idiots playing video games. And you guys can come laugh at us and make fun of us for doing it. And as far as our goals, we just want to keep collecting subscribers and keep growing. And we would love to one day do this professionally. And that's the dream, right?
Yeah, that is definitely the dream.
Yeah, even with us, our goal is with the podcast is, you know, to take that to another level where we're getting, 400, 500, 600 people watching listening to our podcast,
More than that,
on
I
a
want
weekly
like
basis.
thousands of people watching that. I want to have
And
my
he's
email.
hitting the big fish right now, boy.
Yeah,
I
I want
that.
like I want my email to be full of guests, especially the ones that turned us down.
That's another thing. Okay, perfect segue. And I will say, Garrett, by the way, that you're saying that now, but watch when your emails are blown the fuck up. You are gonna hate it.
I know
So
I'm gonna hate it.
mark your words, because I'm gonna look back and be like, yo, remember when you said on episode 28 with Old Man Gaming that you want to have whole shitload of emails? Stop fucking complaining to me. That's exactly what I'm gonna tell you. Because I already know. But hey, with that being said, perfect segue. Let's hop into this fucking topic, man. Because I'm super excited, as both of us have podcasts, to really talk about these certain things that we're gonna talk about. So the first thing that I want to talk about, right? Our thing is, we're gonna go on and talking about podcasts, right?
Okay.
Now, the typical person, I'm gonna tell you my experience. I've never had any type of, the only podcast experience that I've ever had was legit listening to podcasts. Now I listen to certain people, and I would be on Apple or Spotify. I'll just listen to people and kind of hear them while I'm driving. That's why we listen to podcasts, right? It's kind of like you can do other things and listen to those stuff. Now, as a new YouTuber, a new content creator, that you're creating content for your podcast, you're going to go through a lot of challenges. As me and you have spoken about, Zach, me and Garrett, we've spoke about it numerous times. You're going to go through a shitload of complications, right? And even now, as we're not even at that point, I'm speaking for myself mainly, we're not even at that point where I can say we're done with the bullshit. We're probably going to deal with more bullshit.
Oh,
but
we're going to be dealing with bullshit every day.
Every single day. But that first initial 2 to 3 months of podcast time is going to be, in my opinion, the most hectic. All right. And what I want to start this conversation with, and you guys could jump in and let's ping it off, you know what I mean, is first of all, the personal challenges and complications with starting a podcast, right? And for me, one of the main ones was knowing how to do it. And we talk about this a lot, the audio and things like that, knowing how to get the best audio and things like that, and where to put your podcast and all these different things. I feel like that's the biggest thing. If you don't know anything about podcasts, it's like, how do I get started? You know what I mean?
And now it's easier than ever. You can pull up your phone and start talking in your phone, and your phone could pick up the audio and you can upload it to Apple.
Exactly. So nowadays it's a lot easier, but I think even trying to get a good audio, a good setup and stuff, that's probably going to be one of the hardest things. You don't know how many times, like Garrett, you know what I'm talking about, we kind of talk to people and their audio is just fucking shit, to be quite honest.
I go past so many channels because they don't have good audio. It's it's not necessarily their fault because they don't know, or they haven't got to the point where they want to invest in their audio, but it's like we need to still look at channels that have good audio still.
Right.
I was very worried, honestly, when you guys came to me, because right after you guys came to me, I watched your last video, and you were talking about audio being important to you, which it is. It's 100% important. But if we have struggled with anything on our channel, has been good audio. And I'm like, I was crossing my fingers like, man, I hope they don't watch one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. See, if we judge people's contents by the first couple episodes, and we're not doing our jobs, we watch from beginning to where you're at now.
Right. We'll look at your past audio history, or your past content, and even this is what me and GMillion did. We were just looking at content. This was before we found your channel, and we were just looking at the first videos and then also where you're at now. If we see progression, obviously you're doing something right, and that's exactly for you guys. You know what I mean?
We seen a channel with 1,000 subscribers. He sounds like he's talking through a cheap gaming headset.
Like, he sounds like he's talking through a fucking brick. That's what he sounds like.
That's terrible. I mean, we've definitely had our problems. We started doing it with just a crappy MP3 recording app on my phone. And then I would call them, and then they would record it through the phone call. And it sounded okay, but then my phone released an app where the app couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't record phone calls. Then we went to Anchor for the actual recording part. We were using that as distribution on the audio side.
Yep.
Anchor started this weird issue where it would make us out of sync after 40 minutes. I contacted tech support and everything. Nobody could tell me why it was doing it, but it would do it every time. Hit 30 or 40 minutes, and all of a sudden I'm answering questions that haven't been asked yet. Then my wife actually found Zoom, which people use for office meetings, and honestly, that's what we've been using, and it sounds great. And then as far as the Let's Plays go, we couldn't use the Anchor anymore. We ended up switching to it's really weird. We do it through Xbox Group Live Chat. We both record an audio file on our phone with our phone next to us, and I sync it up in post.
Okay, yeah, but now like you can use Discord. That's what we do when we play together. We use Discord. So
and Discord
this is working really well. I was telling Hector before, I didn't even know you guys could use Discord. I was late to the party on Discord, and Logan actually takes care of most of Discord for us. Discord's kind of his baby. So I'm still learning Discord. I didn't even know this was a thing we could do actually until you guys could do it.
And that's the best part, because like even now we have some really, really good connection. I haven't had any issues with any connection, and it just kind of works perfectly. So definitely something to use. Even if you don't use it for podcasts, it's just a good tool to keep your channel kind of together.
Exactly,
and things like that.
Yeah, if you're recording Let's Plays together, Discord on your phone, Discord on the computer next to you. You know, that's what other people do.
Discord's great. Honestly, it's basically I told Logan, after looking at it, I feel that Discord is basically like a social media that you control yourself. Like almost like it's like a platform for creating your own Facebook for your friends, you know, like your fans, you know.
Definitely.
Such a great tool for us.
It's a fan group without the corporate bullshit for right now.
That's so true, dude. Like watch one, like, and a lot of gamers, they use Discord just like to kind of put up their like video updates or their content updates. That's what I use it for, and it works perfectly. Real quick, we got P Blaze again. I feel obligated to throw out Borderlands. Just ignore the story of Borderlands 3.
I knew it.
Gary, you could comment on that.
I knew it.
This dude fucking, didn't you say Borderlands was like not good? You know what I mean?
The story is not good. The gameplay is on top, but the story of 3, what happened, dude? What the fuck happened?
Definitely not up to snuff to the last games. I think the last 2 DLCs have done me and Philbilly actually do a state of play once a month on Borderlands, and we've said like Borderlands 3 has had we get a lot of content for Borderlands 3 on our channel. So we talk about it a lot. I think the last 2 DLCs have done a great job of bringing the story a little bit back, but the original story of the game is rough at best.
Yeah, it was like garbage truck on fire. Listen to your podcast, put the game on mute, and just have fun.
That's how I feel about Division 2, man.
Yeah, the game was still fun. The story was a little doodle would be the best.
Yeah, and so jumping back to real quick the podcasting, because I just kind of thought of it in my head. I don't know if you deal with this. I know GMills, we talk about this all the fucking time. But one of the things, and maybe it has to do with the virus and the pandemic, but creating a topic, or because at some point, if you don't have any new games being released, if you don't have any updates on the gaming community, it is so hard to like find a topic to like really talk about. You know what I mean?
It really is. And I'm not gonna lie, since the pandemic has come down, we've been struggling too with topics. All the topics are delays, and people get sick of hearing about delays. It gets boring quick. I think the best way to do it is to just find subjects that to have fun, like almost like what you asked me in the beginning, like desert island games and stuff like that. Find subjects like that in the slow news weeks and let your personalities kind of shine through.
Right.
And I think that works. As far as games, actually, like content for games, like an old one, you know, your subscribers are with you. In my opinion, your subscribers are with you not necessarily because of the game. Like they probably came there for the game, but they clicked the button because they liked you.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
they just want to see you. Like that's the whole point of YouTube. You're broadcasting yourself. Like they want to see what you guys are offering or what we're offering. You know, that's why they clicked the button. They came there because they searched Borderlands or Monster Hunter or whatever, but they stayed because of you. So just play something. You know what I mean? It's how I feel about that.
I think what you said in your April update about your content is like kind of spot on. You know, and kind of to alluding to what you just said right now, but you know, it's just people are going on your channel to watch you. You know what I mean? They're going on your channel to invest in watching your content, and so that's why me and GMills, when we think of like what we're going to be talking about or the different subjects, even though especially this month has been like such a dead month for like legitimate news, you know what I mean, in gaming, which is one thing we've been dealing with. Yeah,
it's a drag. Like we spent like an hour thinking of a topic. Like no, it's like okay, let's do another list. I'm like no, I'm tired of the list. I'm like, what do you want to do then?
let's make another list. Let's make this list 100 long this time. Like you just get tired at some point, you know.
You really do. I'm not gonna argue, and it'll boil down to like, what's a game you're playing? Let's just talk about that game. Like
Right.
What are you gonna do? I think our podcast we released this week just talked about Animal Crossing because I'm playing Animal Crossing. Like
right.
That's like it. That's like we just made a topic out of that. But it's definitely rough. It's real rough.
If you need someone to talk about Persona 5 for an hour, let me know.
Yeah, this dude will go off on Persona 5, man. That's his thing. But yeah, I mean, the subject. I mean, I feel like that's any content creator, but now with the corona and things going on, it's kind of like at a dead stand where it's really hard to know what to talk about while at the same time being engaged and you know all of that good stuff. I think that's one of the personal challenges for me. There's some times where you know, if you're a new person watching this and you happen to be thinking about making a podcast or whatever, for me, it's like sometimes I kind of don't even want to do the podcast as far as like having to do the physical work for it. I love doing the content. I love making content. There are days when I'm just like, gun fucking hole. Let's do this. Let's get into it, man. Like today is how I felt. But there's sometimes where you have to just click it. You know what I mean? It's like a snap, and you just have to go into conversation mode. You know?
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
It's something that you're just gonna have to make a part of your normal daily life.
Right.
It's like okay,
yeah, for sure.
this I have to do this. You know, it's like doing laundry. It's like doing you know just your. I don't want to say chores because podcasting is not a chore, but it's you're gonna have to implement it in your daily life.
You gotta take it as a job, even if you're not making money.
Exactly.
Great point. That's what I said. Yeah.
You don't want to know how much money I invested in this podcast alone.
Yeah, dude. You know what? That's it, and I think that's the beautiful part about creating a podcast is the freedom that it's going to allow you to, even the times that you don't want to do it, you have to push yourself to do it, but the freedom that it allows you to do, you can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about, you know what I mean? And I think that that's one of the really good perks about podcasting is having that freedom to really talk about the things you want to talk about, you know?
Well, and you know, something I noticed about YouTube that I never thought before, and this kind of goes into the podcasting. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And what's really, when I first started doing this, I was like, I'm never going to make it. It's just kind of like a pop luck thing. I really don't. I totally changed my mind on that, you know, because you just keep making content, you keep making podcasts, and you'll slowly get subscribers. You'll slowly find that fan base. It's slow, you know, and you just have to keep at it. It's a battle of wills not a game of luck. And it's just totally changed my thing. I think anybody can be a YouTube person, anybody can be a YouTube content creator or a podcaster, but you have to be willing to stick out, looking at your numbers, seeing the 4 subscribers, waiting for that 5th one. Like you have to stick out those times to watch it grow, to watch it become something. We're having a great week right now. We got 20 subs this week, and
Nice.
you guys invited me on this wonderful show. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But we've had weeks where we've only had 5 people join, or we've had nobody join, and everybody, myself included, is like, should we be doing this? Should we be putting this out? And gotta stick that out. That's the hard part of YouTube. That's the hard part of podcasting, is sticking out those hard lulls.
Yeah, and it's not just YouTube, it's anything. It's like when you start your own business. It's when you just do a lot of the stuff. You see the people around you just grow, and it feels like you're just staying still and you don't know what's going on. And you're just going to have to stick with it.
Right. Exactly.
So, I think it's even harder for YouTubers and podcasters too, because I think the majority of the world doesn't take you seriously, especially in the beginning. I think when you go to tell somebody, hey, I'm going to make video game videos on the internet, or I'm going to make a podcast, they're going to be like, okay, so that's like your hobby, right? It's like you constantly have something more to prove,
Right.
And that's tough, because you do it, you're going to have everybody around you telling you can't do it, or kind of laughing at you, or saying like, that's cute, but you're going to have that. You're going to also have the numbers being low at the beginning, and you just have to just and fight it,
Right, definitely. And Nights 6:45. I'm about to take a 52 question practical with a 12-minute time limit. Wish me luck, boys. I wish you all the luck in the motherfucking world. I didn't even wish you luck, because you got this, all right? I believe in that. We got Blaze09. Good luck, Knights. Yeah, so you got this, man. I know you got this.
You have this, Knights. You definitely have this.
Yeah, bro, you got this. I know with the podcasting thing, it's like, I love the payoff that it gets, though. There's a lot of personal challenges with podcasting, but for me, like kind of like what you guys were saying, I just kind of look at the bigger picture, and I tell Garrett all the time. I think one big thing that I can say about what we do specifically is, for example, and you're kind of a great example of this, Old Man Gaming. You're gonna have times where we invite guests, because we are gaming, right? That's what we do. That's our niche. That is our bread and butter, is gaming. So we constantly reach out to multiple gamers, small YouTubers, mid-size YouTubers. We don't reach up to those big ones yet, but we're still hitting a good amount of those mid-size, small YouTubers. And a lot of time, like kind of what Garrett said, we'll just get rejection. So I think, knowing that you're going to go through these personal challenges, like there were so many people that just didn't reply to our requests. They didn't want to come on for whatever reason. They didn't want to, and it's okay, but those rejection times are going to be literally those building blocks to like get to where you need to be. Because if you stop at like 10 people and you just say, you know what, this is not for me, nobody wants to come on my fucking show, you already lost the battle before the war was won,
Exactly.
And that's where you just have to persevere through that. And when I think of the long term, I don't think about, well, he told me no right now. I'm thinking about watch him come back in a year or two and regret not being on my fucking show. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Yeah.
I completely agree with that sentiment. I think if you don't, and I gotta say, it's not even just losing the battle. If you get 10 rejections and you say this isn't for me, then it really isn't for you, and you should go do something where you're willing to get 10 rejections and keep going.
Right.
If you take joy every time you see your subscriber count go up by just 1, then you're doing the right thing. And I gotta say, every time I see a subscriber, I don't care if it's 1, I don't care if it's 20, every time that number goes up 1, I am just, it's the best feeling in the world.
So let me ask you something. How do you feel when your subscriber number goes down?
It is a bummer.
Right.
It happens. It happens to everybody. Trust me. I'm not trying to pick
the best of us,
It does. And it bounces a lot. Like
exactly.
The time that it really gets me though is when, like, because every so often I'll put on Discord or I'll put on Facebook, hey, we just hit this number. Thanks, everybody. I hate it when I do that and then it goes down by one. Like, I'm like, bitch. Somebody's gonna go to the show and they're gonna be like, he doesn't have 160. He's got 159. This dude's a liar.
He's gonna be like, you fucking liar. Hey, dude, that was like 2 seconds ago, all right?
Hey, next time, screenshot it so you have the proof.
Right, that's what you got to do. Hey, so we're gonna jump.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you good. Sorry about that, but we're gonna jump into the next thing, which is I want to talk about how to overcome. So the way that I wanted to do this, I think I want to like kind of give the viewers something to leave with before we end off today. All right, so we talked about some of the challenges, right? These are like the common stuff that you're gonna go through. You gotta beat the rejection, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, what can you say would be some positives, and what can you say to the people watching right now? Because I want to talk about what how do you overcome these challenges that we just said? Just a little brief, and like some of the positives that come out of it.
Well, as far as the overcoming challenges, first of all, find a way that works for you. There's 1,000 ways to work for you, no matter how low tech or high tech. Find that way and do it as long as you're able to. Mm-hmm. My computer is 10 years old. My apps that I use are janky and low. This is a hand-me-down microphone, but I found a way to make it work, and it's going to be the way I do it until I have to adapt.
Until you upgrade, right.
I would say the number 2 thing is when you have to adapt, and it's going to be rough. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get into big stories. I know we're winding down, but the original software I used to edit stopped being serviced, and I couldn't use it anymore. So overnight, and this happened the day I had to put up a review. So overnight, I had to completely download, learn, and use Shotcut in order to make a review. That's the kind of stuff. You're going to have those crises. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to figure out how to work it. When Anchor stopped working, when our original app stopped working, we had to figure out how to do that podcast within 2 hours. Gotta adapt. And as far as the positives go, I'm going to tell everyone out there is nothing better than when the subscriber count starts going up.
Right.
Weeks, you have the videos doing really good. It
right.
just it gives you just this wonderful feeling. Mm-hmm. And if I can just add one other thing to watch out for, let the comments roll off your back.
Yeah.
Let that shit go. If they're yelling at you about something you're doing wrong, like maybe look at what they're saying. But I had a comment recently that the guy was swearing at me because my audio was bad on a video that I did 8 months ago. That's fine. He's got a problem that day. He's taking it out. Your audio may be bad, but you gotta let
fucking old video. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's not worth it. Just let it go, or kill him with kindness. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And what about you, Hector? Do you have anything?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Zach kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. But, kind of piggybacking off of what he said, man, like, it's you're going to get rejection. If you don't, and I wouldn't even say rejection, you're going to get rejection. You're going to get you're not going to get support sometimes. You're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to get that. If you're jumping into a podcast or some type of content creating, this is something that you should expect. And that's how I look at it. Don't look at it like, I hope it doesn't happen. Look at it as in, it's going to happen for sure. Because think about it. The more you go long term, right? Old Man Gaming, in our podcast, when we're at 1,000, 2,000, 5, 10, 100, whatever amount of people watching your content, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. You're going to get way more criticism. You're going to get way more rejection. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's just part
comments that you got to respond to.
Exactly.
That you got to deal with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That literally is the nature of the beast. And my thing is, if there's one thing that I can say that I've learned in life, but even doing a podcast that I know you guys already know, this is expect the bullshit. It's going to happen. The best thing you can do is expect it so you know it's coming and just overcome it, like Zach just said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I think.
would love to add just one little thing to it.
Go ahead,
and
man.
That is find the people who are going to support you.
Exactly.
Bring them on. Like you guys have found each other. Knights, Philbilly, a tiny wizard. Like find those people who are going to be there with you through the journey because you're going to need that support. Because you're going to need somebody to tell you that you're doing the right thing, or you will get discouraged eventually. And find those people and
and you
together.
also need the same people that say that you're doing something wrong. Here's how you should look into it. You know.
Right.
People
That's a great point. Yeah. Kind of
Now,
like Garrett, real quick. You know, that's a great point you just said because there's some times where Garrett will tell me, like, "Hey, your fucking audio sucks right now," or "Hey, you need to do this on your video because this happened," or like, you need that. You can't be, you can't have an ego in this fucking game, man. You have to like take those in and everything.
yeah, and since I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years, I put a lot of my videos on private because I used to be like a Let's Player. I used to upload one a day. I used to complete games like crazy, do the Let's Plays. Um, it's just you're just gonna have to deal with it. I grew really fast in the first couple years I did it. Then I plateaued at 400.
Mm-hmm.
The faster you grow, the harder you're gonna plateau.
Yeah.
So if you grow like 300, 500 subscribers less than a year, you know, eventually you're gonna plateau. Especially like if you just do the same content that I did for years after the big Let's Play craze, and then I eventually just quit YouTube altogether. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, you know, you just need to learn to change something if it's not working out for you. Right, because
Definitely.
I think doing more of the podcasting stuff is a lot more fun than trying to beat a game at a certain time just to talk about it to get like 5 or 6 views.
Right.
Because
Definitely.
I'm doing a lot less work and we're getting a lot more views than I would spending 50 hours playing a game than getting 6 views on a game. So on a video.
Exactly right. You like as much as you got to be stalwart, you also have to adapt. And if nothing you have is working, you need to try new things. We try and release a new show every month, just to see if it'll hit. You know, so like I'm totally with you on that. That's 100%.
Now let me ask you something, Zach. Have you looked into live streaming at all?
Okay, so yes, I do eventually want to do this. Problem with live streaming is we have very crazy, very busy lives. None of us really have webcams. Like I said, we're very low tech. We're trying to build up. I think when we get time to do it, it's definitely something we all want to do. Just haven't done it because it's not possible right now. I don't have a capture card, so you wouldn't be able to see me. Neither does Philbilly. Plus, I live in a 2-bedroom condo with my wife and 3-year-old child. She is definitely not going to stay out of, of the living room for the time that I'm live streaming. It's just kind of we're building as we're going, and none of us have really experience in it. But live streaming is definitely something we want to do. Like, do want to do that.
Okay, yeah, because you know, me getting into live streaming, I think that's what really saved my YouTube channel, because me just doing videos, I think I'd go nuts. Like sometimes Hector does go nuts. He's like, dude, I can't stand this editing.
That's the hardest part, is the fucking editing, man.
No, it's crazy. I don't get a lot of time. If the editing bothers me at all, it's because it takes so much time. But when I have the time to do it, I love the editing. It's one of my favorite parts. You know, we do a show called On the Hunt where I actually like back and forth between me, Philbilly's view on Monster Hunter, and I put a song that my brother wrote in it, and it's just so much fun to do. It's just it takes like 2 freaking hours. So like, I gotta make sure my kid's asleep and my wife's asleep, and like everybody's quiet, my dogs are fed, and then by then I
just go right at it. Yeah.
So
for sure.
I don't mind the editing, but I get it. I totally get it. It can be very frustrating.
Definitely that. And so kind of close this thing out, guys, because it's coming to that time. The one thing I want you guys to give your point of view on this comment as well that I'm about to say. But I want to leave off with this note right here. one thing that me and Garrett, really hit upon is the drive and passion and love of creating content.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say this is because we've talked about it. Like I said, you've said it in multiple of your videos. You've said it in your April update, which I've watched that whole thing just to know exactly what you're doing. And you said it yourself, man. You gotta like have a passion for this. And as a podcast host, as someone that creates content for entertainment, if you I kind of love what you said, where if you can't stand 10 rejections, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. You gotta love the process. You gotta love creating content, and I think that's what I love most about your channel. I think that's what I love most about our chemistry when we're on camera, is we love what we fucking do, man. Most of the people that I see on my shit, that comment on my stuff and watch me, I just tell myself, bro, like, I love doing this shit, and I love that people love seeing me do what I love, and that's the best part. So having that drive and passion, you have to have that. If there's one thing that anyone can have for podcasting, it's just having that love and drive. There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong that you can do if you love what you do. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I will always just have in my mind, that I think everyone should do when they're creating content. And I want you guys to just before we close out, just talk about what do you think, your passion and drive, and what do you think that means to you guys?
I'll have Zach go first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely with you. I think that you have to be passionate about this. Because everybody's going to tell you no matter what you do when you're first starting it out. But when you start doing this, people are really going to laugh at you. And especially if you are a 38-year-old man with gray hair, a kid, and like no idea what he's doing. They're going to be like, "You're doing what? Isn't that like something kids do? What are you doing?"
Man.
It's like, gotta just barrel through, and you got to be like, I love doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I love it. See, I tell myself this: I would be making these videos even if our count was 20. It's 168. It's great, but if our subscriber count was still 20, I'd still be making these videos. That's what keeps me doing it every time.
Yeah.
I stop wanting to make them. I'll hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you, GMills?
It's just me. It's just consistency and the drive to want to do it. Like,
Right.
since I do work full time still during this pandemic, I just need to find content that I have time doing. For me, I feel that my passion is live streaming. So I'm going to be focusing on, bringing you guys console gaming radio, talking about the games that I like playing on console gaming radio. Occasionally, I will record and edit and upload a video of a game that I'm playing, and I do like Stadia, so I'm going to continue to do my Stadia show. But for me, my number one passion right now is actually live streaming, seeing all the people in chat, interacting with the chat.
Right.
Everyone starts somewhere. Before the show ends, I'm gonna send you guys the link of my first video, by one of my earliest videos I ever done on YouTube 12 years ago.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do a video on your video, on how horrible your video is.
So that's fine. And the funny thing is, watching that video again, Hector is going through the exactly same shit that I went through.
Yeah.
I don't know if you already watched it, but
I've seen a little bit, but I'm saving it for my reaction.
yeah, so like Hector, so now he has no excuse to improve his audio, because he's seen me go through bad audio. Everyone goes through the same shit. Hector is lucky that he has a coach that got him where he was right now faster than a lot of other people. When you start this for your first time, your content is going to be bad. Your audio is going to be shit. No one's going to watch your shit, and that's okay. Learn from it, have it up there, and, be proud of where you came from. Obviously, if you want to go through a whole channel rebrand and so, and you want to private those videos like I did, that's my excuse for privating those videos, because Let's Plays and what I'm doing now doesn't really match, you know?
Right. Definitely that. Yeah, and
Spoken true.
great points all the way fucking around. 100% right, Zilla. Thank you, man. I know I fucking feel it in my bones and in my heart when I said that, man. So we're gonna go ahead and close this out just because it's coming to that time. But I want to still go ahead and give a big, huge fucking shout out to Old Man Gaming for being on today, man. We appreciate you giving some good jewels and just dropping jewels for us, and talking about your experiences, man. And for anyone that's watching, if you guys we always say this on every episode, make sure you go ahead and support our special guest. We're gonna put all his information in the description. I also put it on our Instagram, his Twitter, his YouTube channel, and we'll go ahead and put his Discord so you guys can check him out. He's got some really great content. Check them out, man. Him and his team are doing great things. We had a great conversation today, man. Don't give up. Podcasts are amazing, and we love what we do, man. If you guys have anything you want to say before we go, if you want to drop your social medias or anything, go ahead and do that, man.
My Discord link is in the description. I do post up random stuff here and there, but a lot of the stuff is when I go live, and I do occasional funny pictures and, my occasional rhythm game scores. So
Right.
the latest console gaming news would be both of our Discords. What about you, Hex?
Yeah, I mean, just follow my stuff is in the description. You guys know. Follow me on follow our CGR on Instagram. It's Console Gaming Radio, at Console Gaming Radio. Just check that out. I just made the Instagram, so we're gonna start posting a lot there. So make sure you guys follow that, and then go ahead, Zach. Let's get your social media and stuff, man.
First, I just want to thank you both for having me on and inviting me. This has been a blast, and I'd love to come back sometime in the future.
Okay.
I do want to say, as far as social media stuff, you guys have covered just about everything for me. On my Discord, Facebook at OldManGamingDH, Twitter at OldManGaming9, and I do want to just give one final shout out to my wife, who is not a gamer and somehow puts up all of me doing all this crap.
Hey, happy wife, happy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I know. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is Console Gaming Radio. Appreciate everybody for watching, everybody that commented, everybody watch our stuff. Make sure you subscribe and like to all of our content.
Exactly.
Until next time, we will see you then. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.